It's March 20th, 2010, and we're at Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. Several hours after the conclusion of that day's Nationwide Series race, the track is hosting a much-anticipated special event. In support of charity, Bristol and ESPN planned a 12-car race for some of NASCAR's greatest legends to run a 35-lap feature around the famous half-mile using late-model stock cars. Some of NASCAR's biggest legends, like David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, and Harry Gant, are taking part, amongst others. For someone who was born in the 1990s, this was likely my only chance to witness these icons of the sport race live, so to say I was excited for this would be an understatement. However, with 5 laps to go, this feel-good event took an unfortunate turn.
Much fun. Bad news for Dave Marcus fans. Oh no, and Larry Pearson's going to slam the wall as he turns it around. Oh! And Charlie Glotzbach T-bones him. Red flag is immediately displayed at start-finish. A wicked hit right on the driver's side door. And we will wait and hope for the best here, because that is the worst possible spot to get hit in one of these cars. And they need the ambulance. You can see these guys waving. All right, folks, all the fun is just the balloon has burst a little bit for all of us. Think positive thoughts. Don't want any injuries in this deal. So Larry, the 56-year-old from Spartanburg, South Carolina, will get an update from medical officials as soon as possible. For right now, we'll just step aside and, as I said, think good thoughts. Back here at our Saturday night showdown at Bristol Motor Speedway, and what has been a wonderful evening right now all of a sudden has taken a very serious turn after a turn 2 crash involving Charlie Glotzbach and Larry Pearson. Medical workers are still working on the 21 car that Larry was driving. And
Larry Pearson, a 2-time champion in what is now the Xfinity Series, and son of the great David Pearson, spun in turn 2 and immediately slid down Bristol's famous banking into the path of 1971 Bristol race winner Charlie Glotzbach. The resulting impact brought out the red flag to assist the 2 drivers. Both were said to have been knocked unconscious, although Glotzbach woke up and was alert enough to climb out of his car to the ambulance with some assistance. After precautionary checks at the hospital, Glotzbach was listed in good condition and ultimately discharged. Pearson, being the driver who was hit in the driver's side, suffered more serious injuries. He eventually did return to consciousness, but had to be cut out of the vehicle and airlifted to the hospital. He broke his lower left ankle, pelvis, and right hand, but eventually recovered. What was meant to be a celebration of the past turned into a stark reminder of racing's ever-present danger. Even in our modern times, the danger still lurks, from the smallest track to the biggest. For many NASCAR fans, this incident is the most they know about Larry Pearson and Charlie Glotzbach. As stated previously, Larry Pearson is the son of the legendary David Pearson. As many second-generation drivers can testify, following in the footsteps of a legend can be difficult and sometimes an impossible task. Pearson drove much of the 1980s in the Busch Grand National Series for the family's own team. He won the series championship in 1986 and 1987, and after finishing third in 1988, the team moved up to the Winston Cup Series. 1989 would be Larry Pearson's only full-time Cup season, a season in which he scored 2 top 10s and finished 23rd in points. It seemed as though the independent Pearson team didn't have the means to sustain a challenge at the top level, in a time where big money started rolling into the sport with the likes of Rick Hendrick and Joe Gibbs, while teams like Richard Childress and Junior Johnson's were still at the forefront of the sport. By the mid-90s, Larry Pearson returned to the Busch Series and won several more races before making his final NASCAR start at South Boston in 1999. To his credit, Pearson had a great career in the second division and was a staple of the series in its first 15 years of existence. Although he was never able to stick in the Cup Series, you can't scoff at his accomplishments, that's for sure. For Charlie Glotzbach, the passage of time has rendered his career nearly forgotten. Chargin' Charlie was one of the first NASCAR drivers to hail from outside the Southeast. The Indiana native attempted but failed to qualify for 2 Indy 500s and was an early participant in ARCA and other Midwestern stock car series. Despite never running a full Winston Cup schedule, Glotzbach won 4 races, including a caution-free race at Bristol in 1971. He narrowly lost the 1969 Daytona 500 after being passed for the lead on the final lap of the race. That year, his career was about to take off, and his trucking company was doing well. Unfortunately, later that year, an ex-employee of his trucking company came to seek retribution. According to the ABC broadcast of the 1970 Daytona 500, this disgruntled employee attacked Glotzbach, beating him up and then lodging some ammo in him, if you catch my drift. In fact, according to ABC, Glotzbach recovered but still had to start the 1970 season with fragments still in his upper arm. Glotzbach continued to make one-off appearances, scoring 3 top 20 finishes in Junie Donlevy's number 90 car as late as 1992, and he even tried to qualify for the inaugural Brickyard 400 in his home state of Indiana in 1994. Even into his 50s, he was still winning ARCA races at Talladega and Atlanta. Unfortunately, Glotzbach passed away in 2021 at the age of 82. He embodied the classic stock car racer, someone who used his business to fund his passion for racing. He wasn't going to be a Richard Petty with the factory support and running all the races, but he was talented, driven, and his passion for racing was obvious. The archetype of the blue-collar weekend warrior may have been snuffed out at the top levels of NASCAR today, but at short tracks across the country, you can still find folks like him determined to accomplish their dreams of being a race car driver. This video was really meant to highlight these 2 men. I think it is important to remember and pay tribute to those who accomplished so much in the past. For many younger fans, this accident is all they would know about Larry Pearson and Charlie Glotzbach, and their careers deserve more recognition than for one singular moment like this. I think a Legends race like this could be done again. I do not think that age had anything to do with the accident that day at Bristol. It was just unfortunate circumstances and the laws of physics. Bristol's iconic high banks caused Pearson's car to slide back down in front of traffic. A lot of fans would really enjoy seeing retired drivers race again. There's so many names that have retired in the last 15 years or so that are now over the age of 50 that a Legends exhibition might be worthwhile. Tony Stewart's SRX series definitely scratches some of that itch, but it seems as though that series is trending more towards younger current drivers like IROC did in its prime. With Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick along with Jeff Burton and Justin Marks owning the Cars Tour, who's to say we couldn't get some older guys in a race on a short track? Jr. has even talked on the Dale Jr. download about asking guys like Burton and Dale Jarrett if they want to drive again. While those guys said no, there are still plenty of others that could do it. Just imagine the possibilities. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking this video and subscribing, and have a great day.